stuff. And ultimately, I want my children's future to be better than what we currently have at the moment, as we all do.
Because I worry about your grandchildren and everybody else's grandchildren, as well as my own.
A royal shakeup like never before. Reports suggest King Charles has dropped a game-changing bombshell about the next heir. Could this decision rewrite royal history? With tensions brewing inside the palace, many believe this unexpected move could divide the monarchy. Is Britain ready for this shocking twist? The royal world was left stunned as King Charles made an announcement that no one saw coming. What was expected to be a routine address turned into a moment that shook the monarchy at its core. Speculation had already been swirling about the king's future, his health, his reign, and how long he could carry the weight of the crown. But no one anticipated this. When Charles spoke, the room fell silent. His words carried a weight that couldn't be ignored. Reports suggest that even the closest members of the royal family were caught off guard. The king had just acknowledged something the palace had been avoiding. A transition was coming, and the future of the monarchy was about to take a dramatic turn. The question now is, what exactly did he reveal?
People will get fed up, and all these young feel nothing is ever happening, so of course they're going to get frustrated.
Was this a simple reaffirmation of tradition, or had he just altered the line of succession in a way no one expected? The British monarchy has always followed strict rules when it comes to inheritance, but King Charles's words suggest a different future might be unfolding, one that could change everything we thought we knew about who would wear the crown next. From the moment King Charles took the throne, comparisons to Queen Elizabeth II were inevitable. She ruled with unwavering steadiness for 70 years, becoming a symbol of continuity and stability. But Charles inherited the crown under very different circumstances. At 73, he was already the oldest person to ever assume the throne. His reign was never seen as one that would last decades. It was always viewed as transitional. The public knew he would be king, but the real question was, for how long? Recently, concerns over his health have only intensified the speculation.
Old and young, who were systematically murdered.
Reports suggest that his condition has limited his ability to perform royal duties, raising doubts about the longevity of his reign. With fewer public appearances and whispers growing louder, one thing became clear. Charles needed to address the future, and he did. But no one expected him to do it this way. Instead of simply reaffirming Prince William as the undisputed heir, King Charles introduced a new element to the conversation, one that caught even royal insiders off guard. His statement left many wondering. Was this a bold move to protect the monarchy, or did it just create more uncertainty? For years, the line of succession has been crystal clear. When Charles became king, his eldest son, Prince William, was immediately recognized as the future monarch. His destiny was set from birth. William had been carefully prepared for this role. Queen Elizabeth personally guided him, ensuring he understood the responsibilities that came with the crown.
And the problem solving and the ambition of the moonshot.
His life has been a blueprint of royal duty, serving in the military, taking on charitable work, and stepping up to more prominent roles as his grandmother aged. There was never a question about who would be next. That is, until now. King Charles's recent announcement didn't remove William as the heir, but it introduced a surprising element, Princess Charlotte. The way Charles framed his words suggested a shift, or at the very least, a new dynamic in the way the monarchy would move forward. For years, William had been the only one in focus. But now, suddenly, Charlotte was being positioned differently. Why now? What does this mean for William's reign when the time comes? And perhaps most importantly, does this suggest a new kind of leadership that no one saw coming? When King Charles mentioned that Princess Charlotte should be prepared for the throne, it sent shockwaves through the royal world.
Obviously fantastic, and she's been a little joy of heaven, but...
Never before had a monarch openly emphasized the importance of a younger royal in this way, especially while a direct heir like Prince George was already in place. This raised an urgent question. Was this symbolic, or was Charles subtly rewriting royal history? Traditionally, the monarchy follows a strict path. Eldest children inherit the throne. However, modern times have brought new pressures, and the monarchy must evolve. Perhaps Charles sees Charlotte as a necessary pillar of the future, someone who could share the burden with George, rather than stand in his shadow. Charlotte, even at a young age, has already displayed a commanding presence. She has been described as confident, poised, and mature beyond her years. her ability to handle public engagements has not gone unnoticed. Could Charles be positioning her for a more prominent role than anyone anticipated? And if so, what does this mean for George? Would he still take the throne alone, or would his sister be stepping into a role that places her directly beside him in a way never seen before?
I'm just doing the way I know, and if it's the right way, then brilliant. If it's not the wrong, if it's the wrong way,
Prince George was born into a future that seemed certain. He would be king, just as his father and grandfather before him. But now, for the first time, that certainty feels shaken. Charles's words may have been carefully crafted, but they left a lingering question. Why was Charlotte being singled out? If this was merely about supporting George, why wasn't Louis mentioned in the same way? This move could signal a shift in how the monarchy operates. In the past, heirs carried the full weight of the crown alone. But what if Charles is envisioning a future where leadership is shared? Could this be a strategy to modernize the monarchy, making it less about one ruler and more about a royal team? One thing is clear: Charlotte's presence in the conversation changes everything. Her confidence, her natural leadership, and now her grandfather's recognition put her in a position where her role within the monarchy is more significant than ever before.
And teach the values with which we can overcome it.
But how will George react to this new dynamic? And could this lead to an entirely different kind of royal leadership in the years to come? Inside the palace, King Charles' announcement created waves. Prince William remained composed, but insiders suggest he was taken by surprise. He has spent his entire life preparing for the throne. Now suddenly, there's talk of sharing power? Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has always been a steady presence for her children. She understands the pressures of royal life better than anyone. But did she expect Charlotte to be placed in the spotlight so soon? Could this be a move she privately supports, knowing the monarchy needs strong female figures to move forward? Meanwhile, Queen Camilla's role is shifting as well. Her time alongside Charles has been about rebuilding her image, but this announcement pushes the focus onto the next generation.
Taken us time to explain everything to George in a way that's appropriate. And
insiders say she wasn't entirely prepared for this sudden shift in attention. With reactions still unfolding, one thing is certain: this wasn't a casual statement. Charles' words have set the stage for a monarchy that may look very different from what anyone expected. King Charles's declaration was more than just a passing remark. It was a moment that sent shockwaves through the royal family, the public, and even political circles. The monarchy has survived for centuries by following strict traditions, yet Charles' words hinted at something unexpected. Was this a symbolic nod to Charlotte's growing presence in the royal family, or did he just rewrite the future of the monarchy? For many, the idea of George becoming king was always a certainty. His path has been mapped out since birth, carefully shaped by William and the late Queen Elizabeth. But Charles's statement opened a door that had never truly been considered before. Could the next monarch not be a single ruler, but a shared leadership between George and Charlotte?
A new role, the steadfast devotion to duty on which...
If this was Charles' intention, then he may have just set the stage for one of the biggest transformations in British royal history. A monarchy led by siblings, where the responsibilities of leadership are divided rather than resting on one individual's shoulders, could be a way to modernize the institution. The potential impact on the future of the monarchy. This announcement carries massive implications. The monarchy has always relied on the principle of primogeniture, where the eldest child, regardless of gender, takes the throne. While this system has kept succession clear-cut, it has also placed enormous pressure on a single person. If Charles is hinting at a more collaborative monarchy, he could be introducing a structure that makes the crown more adaptable in today's world. But that raises more questions. Would George and Charlotte actually rule together? If so, what would that even look like? Would they share duties equally, or would Charlotte take on more of a supporting role? And if the throne is no longer a single-person role, does this mean that Prince Louis could have a larger role too? Of course, it's also possible that Charles' words were meant only to highlight Charlotte's importance without actually changing the rules. Some believe he simply wanted to ensure she was fully prepared to be a key figure in the royal family, much like Princess Anne, who has been one of the monarchy's most reliable members, despite never being in direct line for the throne. Will George and Charlotte truly be positioned as equal figures within the monarchy? Or did Charles' words create unnecessary speculation that will ultimately lead to nothing? What do you think? Did King Charles just future-proof the monarchy? Or did he just create more confusion about who will wear the crown next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.